Morning everyone. So you all can please confirm me in the chat box once guys.
So good morning, everyone. People from online, can you able to hear me? Can you please confirm me in the chat box once? Okay, great. Thank you so much, guys. Just give me a minute. Let me open the whiteboard. So Sai Kumar, this course is related to AWS and Azure knowledge as well. So course content, admin will share it to you. Please reach out to the admin regarding the course content. And before we begin the class, I just want to know, like, is there anyone who joined yesterday, or how many of them are joined today? Like, can you just confirm me in the chat box once? First class or second class? Sai Kumar, they will have the course content. Yesterday night, I have shared with them. Okay. So I have seen that for few of them, today is the first class, and for the others, it will be a second class. As I said earlier, initially our classes will be little bit slow because if anyone joins today, they should understand what we have discussed yesterday. So for that reason, I'll be going bit slow for first 5 classes. After the 5 classes, we will be entering into different services, and we will be going bit speed. But for this week, like today, tomorrow, or day after tomorrow, whatever we discussed in the previous session, we will also discuss that, and we will be adding one or two new points to that. So let's see what we have discussed yesterday, and I will be repeating it at the same time. So you can also see in the chat box. So we have a video uploaded in the YouTube. You can also get that link and you can also watch that video. And if you have any doubts at any point, you can also reach out to me. And thank you so much for joining again. So we will begin the class. Yesterday, we tried to understand what is cloud, what is on-premises infrastructure, and what is server. So this course, people who are not aware of like what is this course exactly, I know how many months it will have, how many sessions that we have. So this course is both AWS and plus Azure. In this course, AWS would be our primary, Azure would be our secondary. The reason why we added AWS plus Azure is Many of the companies are looking for candidates who is having knowledge on multiple cloud along with an AWS or any other cloud. So that is the reason we planned this batch to make sure AWS should be our primary, and on main services like storage, networking, uh, servers, a few services are included in Azure as well. So that in our resume, we can mention that we have a knowledge on both AWS plus Azure, so that it will be easy for us to get shortlist out of other resumes. So that is the reason we planned this particular batch. So after learning AWS, if you learn at least some services in Azure, so that will be really very good advantage for everyone if you can just go through this. In this session, in this course, 40 days will be AWS. AWS Databricks will not be included, Sai Kumar. And people who have any questions, please hold the questions. I will be allowing you to ask your questions at the end. I'll be giving you at least 30 minutes of time to raise your questions, because since you're all new to the session, you might have a different questions and different things in your mind. So I will definitely answer all your questions. At the end, I'll allow you to talk. So you can raise your hand and you can ask your question at the end. Okay. So please bear with me for 45 minutes first. And the next 30 minutes, I'll allow you to talk and you can ask any question, whatever you have. So coming to the course, 40 days, we will discuss different AWS services, and 15 days, we will discuss Azure services, so that people who are looking for a job, or people who are preparing your resume, so you can add Azure as well along with that for with couple of services, so that it will be good to get shortlisted. Now, before understanding, so as I discussed yesterday, what is cloud? So as I've explained a few examples yesterday, so we will just discuss that today and we will move on to the new topic. Whenever we are learning cloud, so the common question that we have is, what is cloud? What is a cloud technology? What exactly it provides? What we can do in the cloud, and where we can use this cloud technology in our real time or in IT organizations or anywhere. So here, when I talk about cloud, let's go with a common use case first. So we all aware of Google Drive. What is the use of Google Drive generally? To store the data, we will be using the Google Drive. Generally, to store the data, we will be using Google Drive. We will store unlimited data in Google Drive. We will store unlimited data in Google Drive. Generally, we have a Google Drive service, and we will we can store unlimited data, but by default, we have some 20 GB or something as a free tier limit. But more than that, you can upload the data, and how much data that you have uploaded, you will be paying for it. So here, when I say that, by default, I'm getting 20 GB of free tier data, and when I'm uploading more than that, so I'll be paying as per I use it, right? Can I call it as a pay as you go model? Pay as you go model. The meaning of pay as you go model is how much you use, you pay for it. That is the meaning of pay as you go model. So when I talk about Google Drive, I can say that we can store unlimited data into the Google Drive, but we can pay only whatever for we use. So that is the use case of Google Drive. So when I uploaded some data into the Google Drive, so will I maintain any physical device with me? For example, if I want to store my data into the hard disk, like any external hard disk or somewhere. So when I store my data into the hard disk, do I need to maintain any physical device along with me? The answer is yes, because see, if I'm storing my data into a hard disk, a physical hard disk, wherever I go, I have to carry this hard disk. I have to maintain this hard disk. It means it is nothing but a physical infrastructure, right? So you have to maintain a physical hard disk along with you. But coming to Google Drive, you can upload unlimited data, but you don't require to maintain any physical device along with you. Simply, you can just create a Google account. Simply, you can just create a Google account and you can log in into the Google account and you can navigate to the service Google Drive and you can upload the data into the Google Drive. So that is the beauty of Google Drive. So you don't require to maintain any hard disk. But when I'm storing my data into the hard disk, I know that my data is getting stored inside the hard disk. But when I'm storing my data into the Google Drive, if I'm not maintaining any physical device along with me, where my data is getting stored, so definitely it should get stored somewhere physically, right? It doesn't really store it in the clouds or somewhere which we can't see. Definitely it has to be stored physically in some place. So even it is a Google Drive, it will be stored physically at some particular location on particular machines, but maintenance of that particular infrastructure will be taken care by service provider. So here you have to understand the meaning of the service provider. What is a service provider? The person who is providing the service. For example, in my house, I want to have an internet connection. I want to have an ACT connection, or I want to have a broadband like Geo connection. So definitely based on my requirement, what I look for, the pricing or the speed or whatever it may be, I'll be reaching out to the particular company. So whoever is providing a service to me, I will call them as a service provider, right? In this case, if I'm using a Google Drive, if I'm storing my data into the Google Drive, and what I can say, like who is my service provider here? I can say that my service provider is Google here, right? So when I'm talking about cloud, a single statement which I can pass is instead of you maintain your infrastructure, service provider will maintain the infrastructure. So that is called cloud. So this is not only a statement to determine the cloud. So going forward, every day you learn new things in the cloud. So based on what I explained now, so this is one of the statement that we can pass. So what we can say, whatever the data which we are storing or whatever the infrastructure that we need, instead of we maintaining the infrastructure, service provider will take care of it. And also I can say that cloud is a pay as you go model. Pay as you go model. Okay. So now, for example, if there is no cloud, cloud was not there in the market. What is the traditional method that we supposed to follow earlier? Because, okay, last 10 years or last 7 years or 8 years or 10 years, we were using the cloud, right? So before that, what is the scenario? If the cloud technology is not existing in the market, so what is the a traditional method that we supposed to follow? So we supposed to follow on-premises infrastructure. We supposed to follow on-premises infrastructure. So this is the terminology that you might hear. On-premises infrastructure is nothing but a physical infrastructure. On-premises infrastructure is nothing but physical infrastructure. But instead of calling it as a physical infrastructure, professionally, we should call it as on-premises infrastructure. So on-premises, in the name itself, you can easily understand, right? So in our premises, if we were maintaining our infrastructure, then we will be calling it as on-premises infrastructure. So generally, we supposed to have an on-premises infrastructure, even though if you have a small infrastructure or a huge infrastructure, it doesn't matter. We supposed to have a data center in our premises and we supposed to maintain it. But it is a very complicated thing because, see, for example, maintaining of infrastructure or procuring a hardware is not that much easy. Like, we are not taking anything rental there. We are putting our money and we are buying it. We are investing the money. For example, if I talk about a small use case like a laptop. See, for example, if I want to buy a laptop, so definitely when I want to buy a physical laptop or a computer, I will be having my use case. Why should I buy this laptop? Should I buy this laptop to just watch the movies? Or should I buy this laptop to do the video editing or photo editing? Because based on my requirement, my laptop's configuration will be there, right? So if I want to buy a laptop to just watch the movies, I can put 25,000 or 30,000, I can get the laptop. But if I have a use case like saying that I want to play the GTA Vice City game, or if I want to play something, or if I want to edit some application, so definitely my laptop configuration will get increased. So then what will happen? Obviously, there will be a difference of 10 to 30,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees difference will be there. So when I'm talking about a very small requirement, we can find the difference of 10 to 20,000. But when I'm talking about a huge infrastructure, for example, if I'm talking about a Flipkart application, or if I'm talking about an Amazon application, because whatever the application may be, we have to host it on an infrastructure, right? We have to set up an infrastructure. So generally, if it is a Flipkart, or if it is an Amazon application, or if it is a manabadi.com, or whatever it may be, so what we have to do? So we have to set up a network, we have to create a server, we have to host the app. So doing of all these such things is not that easy to do that. So for example, if I want to procure a hardware and if I want to set up an on-premises infrastructure, so definitely I have to procure a servers, switches, routers, cables. Like there should be a room, there should be an air conditioner, there should be a power backup, there should be a power bill, there will be an admin to maintain this. So this is all comes under the investment. If you look at your college days, like in even in our college or in our organizations, everywhere there will be a data center or there will be a single server room where they maintain their infrastructure. In college days, for example, whenever we required some Wi-Fi authentication or anything, we supposed to go to the IT team or to the IT team or to IT place. Like, there, if you remember, there is a room with the cables, servers, racks, air conditioner, and all. To set up this infrastructure, we have to invest a lot. We have to invest a lot. After investing a lot of money into this, if you feel that, like, it's not worth it, like, you're not getting a project that what you expected, or if you lost the project, or if the project is completed and if you want to decommission it, whatever it may be, the infrastructure, whatever that you procured, got wasted, right? But to do this, instead of doing this, what we can do is in cloud, we can take everything for a rental basis. For example, if I want to create a network, I can create a network, I can create a server, I can host the application, I can monitor the server. Okay, I can store the data. For each and everything, there will be a service available in AWS. So that is the beauty of cloud. It can be AWS or it can be Azure, whatever it may be. The services will be available in these cloud platforms. So, for example, if I talk about AWS, the service provider is Amazon. If I talk about Google Cloud Platform, the service provider is Google. If I talk about Microsoft Azure, the service provider is Azure. So here, whatever the cloud platform may be, it provides a different services. So based on our use case, whatever the service that we required, we can use those services. For example, if I want to create a network, there will be a service available in particular cloud platform, we can use it. If I want to create a server, there will be a service which is available in cloud platform, we can use it. If I want to store the data, there will be a service which will be available in cloud platform, we can use it. If I want to monitor this server, there will be a service which is available in cloud platform, we can use this. The common answer, like whenever someone asks you, What is a cloud? The simple answer we supposed to say is a cloud is to store the data. But cloud is not just to store the data. So whenever someone asks you, you should answer that cloud is a virtualization. Like instead of we maintain an infrastructure, instead of us like service provider will take care of the infrastructure, in each cloud platform we have a lot of services available based on our use case. Whatever the service that I want, I will be using that service. If I want to store the data, there is a service available in cloud. I'll be picking up that service, I'll explore the service, and I'll use the service. If I want to create a server, I'll be picking the service, I'll be using the service, and I'll doing it. So here, based on the usage, we will like learning of cloud platform. It can be AWS or it can be Azure. So what I can say is how to use, where to use. The first thing we will learn for each and every service, where to use that service. And we will also learn how to use that service. So where to use, how to use. If you are following these two principles, nothing but if you are doing this, that is the meaning of learning of cloud. When there is a service, we have to figure out where we can use this service. And after that, we have to figure out how to use that service. So in our courses, especially, we will have a set of services in AWS. We will cover those first. And then out of that, we will pick few more services to Azure and which are very important. So we will just learn those services of Azure. And what we do is we will compare with, okay, in AWS, we were creating this service in this particular way. Okay, in Azure, we were creating this in this particular way. So that in the interview, it will be helpful for you to explain and you can say that I have knowledge on multi-cloud platform. Now, coming to the server. So we generally always listen to that. What is a server? What is a server? Because we always hear, whenever we jump into the IT, we always hear about application server, database server, whatever it may be. In previous class also I have explained you server. Server is nothing but machine. Server is nothing but a machine. I can say that it is also a computer. It also can be a laptop. But you can ask me a question, sir. Can you make your laptop as a server? I can make if I have the enough configuration. For example, if I'm hosting Abiba's application on my server on my laptop, so definitely it requires some configuration, right? See, I cannot install few applications on my laptop because based on my laptop compatibility. That is how whenever you want to host some application, that application requires that this much RAM, this much CPUs, and end users will be accessing to the application every day. It can able to handle the traffic. So it should have certain configuration, right? For our machine, if we have set configuration, so we can make it as a server. So here whenever you discuss about server, whenever I talk about app server or DB server or web server, whatever it may be, simply for example, when there is a bottle, if you fill this bottle with a drink, you'll call it as drink bottle. If you fill this bottle with water, you'll call it as water bottle, right? That is how when there is a machine, if you hosted application on this, you'll call it as application server. If you hosted database on it, you'll call it as database server. That's it. Okay. To create this server, instead of we maintaining a physical infrastructure, we can also create it in our cloud platform because we have a dedicated service to create a server. Hope you are all clear. Now, let's see what is a network, what is public IP, what is private IP, because these are also common terminologies which we always hear, like, oh, what is a network, what is a public IP, what is a private IP and all. Let's go with some example. For example, this is one house and this is another house. This is one house and this is another house. there is a person who is staying inside this house, and there is a person who is staying inside this house. When there were two persons, this person have a professional name and nickname as well, right? Everyone will have a professional name and a nickname. For example, this person is having a professional name called Srikant, and he is having a nickname called Srini, and he might have a professional name called Venkatesh and a nickname called Venki. Srikant, Srini, Venki, Venkatesh. Now these two guys wants to communicate with each other. Say for example, you and me or belongs to a two different houses. You will be having a professional name. I will be having a professional name. If you want to address me, you will be addressing me with my professional name. You won't call me with my nickname, right? If I want you to address, same. Again, I'll follow with the professional name because I'm not aware of the nickname. And if I check who is calling me, I can see only your professional name. I can't see your nickname as well, right? That is how when there are two different houses. So these two persons can be communicated with each other with the professional names. When there is a person inside, and this person will also have a professional name, and this person will also have a nickname. When these two persons want to communicate with each other, what is the name that they use? What is the name that they use? Nickname they use, obviously. So what I mean to say is here, when there are two different houses, the communication will be with the professional name. Within the house, if they wanted to communicate with each other, it will be a nickname, right? In some cases, even though if they belongs to two different houses, if there is any relation between them, they can call it as a nickname, call with a nickname. But don't bother about the relation that now. Okay, we will discuss about that relation. If we have a relation, what we have to use. Don't bother about it. As of now, remember that when there are two different houses, communication will be happened with the professional name, and within the house, the communication will be happened with the nickname. So here, house is nothing but a network. House is nothing but a network. Person is nothing but a server. Professional name is nothing but a public IP. Nickname is nothing but private IP. Professional is nothing but public IP. Nickname is nothing but private IP. So I can say that external communication can be happened with the help of public IP. Internal communication can be happened with the help of private IP. External communication can be happened with the help of public IP. Internal communication can be happened with the help of private IP. So now, when I'm talking about external communication and internal communication, for example, if I want to book a train ticket, generally there will be a network, IRCTC network, and there will be a server where application people will book the tickets. Now here we have a house, we connected to internet, we have a laptop. Now if I want to connect to IRCTC application to book the tickets, will I use a public IP or a private IP? Obviously, we will be using public IP here. But in general, if you want to book train tickets really, we will never use IP address. We will always use domain name like www.irctc.com, right? So this is the domain name that we can purchase. We can purchase it from the AWS we have a service to purchase it. We can purchase it from the outside like GoDaddy or somewhere, and we will be attaching this domain name to the so people who, if they're accessing to this www.irctc.com, the traffic will be routed to public IP, so that it will be routing to a server which is in the backend. Okay. So to do this, to attach this www.irctc.com to the server also, we will be having a separate service in AWS. So for each and every use case, we will be having a service which is available. For example, if there is a service available to do this, so what we will do? Okay, we will, when we are learning that service, we will got to know that, okay, I can use this service to route the traffic from domain name to IP address. That is called where to use. And we will see how to configure that. That is called how to use it. So that is the reason whenever we were learning cloud platforms, we should make sure that where to use, how to use. If you are following these two principles, learning of cloud is not difficult, because we are not inventing anything here. We were just using whatever it is available, whatever which is available there. Okay. So whatever which is available, I'm here to explain you. So there is no prerequisites. I mean, I'm not expecting anything like, you should learn something to learn cloud, or you should go through this to before coming to this class. So there is no criteria like that. Whatever, like, your background, it can be a degree, or it can be an MBA, or it can be a fresher, whatever it may be, the way how we discussed from the scratch. For each and every service also, we will discuss it from the scratch. So I mean, especially you don't require any prerequisite knowledge to attend this course. You can just completely come up with a fresh mind, and it's my responsibility to make you understand the each and every service. And it's your responsibility to practice it. Clear? Now, whenever, I'm using any cloud platform, it can be Azure cloud platform, or it can be AWS cloud platform. Generally, when I want to use, for example, when I want to have an internet connection to my home, what is the first thing that I used to check? Whether the connection is available in my location or not. Because if it is available in somewhere, I cannot bring it for myself to my house location, right? If it is around available, I'll be using it. And at the same time, for example, if you want to start a product, like saying some kind of t-shirts or shirts or whatever it may be. So you want to manufacture it. So initially you started in US, and your brand got success. And now that you want to implement it in India, will you put your warehouse in US and manufacturing there and always exporting to India, or else you will be creating a warehouse here, manufacturing here, and based on the usage here, you'll be manufacturing and you will be sharing it to here? Obviously, we will prefer the second one, because I cannot export everything, like put it in the US and exporting from there to here everything, right? Similarly, whenever we were using a cloud platform, whenever we create infrastructure virtually within our account, it has to be stored physically, right? It means we should have a warehouse somewhere in India to store our physical infrastructure. So that we will call it as a regions. Even AWS or Azure launches regions in all countries. Whenever we required, or whenever we create anything infra, so that will be stored. Whenever we were working on AWS or Azure, we can select the region. If you are working for a US client, you will be selecting the US region there. If I'm selecting for the Indian client, I'll be selecting the Indian region here, and I'll be creating it, so that accordingly my infrastructure will be stored in that particular location. Understood. So that's of the regions. Inside the regions, we have a data centers and availability zones. Whatever we create virtually, physically, it will be stored in those data centers. in those regions. So by sitting here, I can create a server, I can store my server in US also. But that doesn't make sense. If I talk about Abibus application will have the users from India. That doesn't make sense when it is having users from India putting your server in US. Definitely it ends up with a latency because it goes like the response will be not too good when compared to India, right? Because if you're storing your server at somewhere, that's how we will be working with the regions as well. Clear? So now I'll just go with online questions now. So now this is the basic part, guys. So for 30 minutes, I'll allow you to talk. People who have the questions from online and also offline, like whoever it is, I'll be first clearing to the online first, and then I'll be going to the offline. Today, we just discussed about what is a cloud, what is a server, what is an IP address, what is a network, and what are the regions. So, Sai, just give me a minute. I'll allow you to talk. Sai, I allowed you to talk. You can unmute and you can ask your question. Sai, you're on mute. You can unmute and you can ask your question. Ravi Kiran, this course covers both AWS and Azure as well. Shalini, I allowed you to talk. You can unmute and you can ask your question.
Good morning, Santosh.
Yeah, good morning, Shalini.
My question is,
Yeah.
are we going to do the course based on real-time use case scenario? Because
Yes.
you mentioned
Yes. Yes. Whatever the service that we discuss in our course content, okay? Every service I'll be explaining you theoretically. I'll be telling the use case of it and I'll be showing you the practical of it and sharing the record to you and also sharing the running notes to you.
okay, another question is you have mentioned that we will be having classes for AWS like 40 classes and rest of the
Yes.
classes for the Azure topics. Is
Yes.
it like based on the familiarity in the market? Are we just discussing few topics on AWS or is it just based on the use case scenario in the course?
Not use case. So what we do is majority of the services we will cover AWS. Okay. After that, in each cloud platform, there will be a mandatory services, right? Like network, compute engine, storage, so security groups, security policies, IAMs. We will be having some I mean the services which we should definitely learn for the basic knowledge. So those services we will cover it in the Azure as well, along with the real time and use cases.
Okay, thank you, Santosh. Could you please tell the admin that she messages the course details in the modules which we will
Sure,
have classes.
sure, sure. So I have shared both AWS and Azure course content to him. So I just shared to him yesterday's night around 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. So today, if you reach out to him, definitely he'll share it to you. Okay. I'll also
Thank,
inform him again.
thank you.
Yeah. Chaitanya, yes, we were covering network related concepts also like VPC, peering, VPC, Open VPN, everything. Srinivas, I allowed you to talk.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Srinivas.
Sir, what is the difference between server and service, sir?
See, using of a particular service, we can create a server. Okay. Server, as I said, server is like a machine, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
it has some functionality, right?
Yes, sir.
So in AWS or in Azure, based on every use case, we will be having a particular service. For example, if I want to create a server, I will be having one particular service available there. If I want to create a network, I will be having a particular service there. So whatever that we need, it provides as a service from AWS and we will be using it.
See, what are the based on the request? See, VPC is nothing but you are saying that is service. That service,
See, everything, whatever, see, for example, this is an AWS course, right?
yes, sir.
What is the service that we are offering to you as a training, right?
Yes, sir.
So there are two different things here, right? Service is a generic word,
Hmm.
which is providing to us.
Yes, sir.
And server is what we are creating there exactly. So AWS course, that what we are learning here. Service is we are providing a training to you. These two are two different things, right?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Service is nothing but providing some information to us.
It's not an information.
Hmm.
It's about I mean, whatever the requirement that we have, it
Hmm.
fulfills our requirement.
But in that service point of view, what are the use of the server? Means generally, I'm an Java background guy. Our application is deployment in a server actually. Okay.
See, 1 second. For example, Google Drive. Google Drive is a service.
Yes, sir.
Why we are using Google Drive? To store the data,
Yes, sir. Searching and store data.
right? I'm using this, right?
Yes, sir.
Gmail is a service. Why we are using Gmail? To send emails. In AWS, S3 is a service.
Okay.
Why? To store the data.
Yes, sir.
In AWS, EC2 is a service. Why? To create a server. Clear?
Yes, sir. EC2 is a not server, sir.
EC2 is a service
Service.
which helps to create a server. Okay.
Okay. Service based on the service creating the server.
Service is a generic word. So generally, whenever we call anything, EC2, like for example, in AWS, we have hundreds of services available.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Each
sir.
service will have a name. Clear?
Name is there.
If you sign up into the Google account, in Google account, we have lot of services available. For example, we can have a Google Classroom, we can have a Google Spreadsheet, we can have a Google Drive, we can have a Gmail,
Yes,
we
sir.
can have many things, right? Those are all services.
Services.
Each and every service will have a name and it's have its use case.
Yes, sir. These services where you can run, sir, in server inside.
No. So whenever we want to work with either AWS or Azure, we will be creating a respective cloud account.
Okay, sir.
Okay. For example, if you log in your Flipkart account, you can see all the products which are available in the Flipkart account, right? You can order whatever the product that we want.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, we will create AWS account or Azure account. So once you logged in into the AWS account or Azure account, there will be a service which offers which we can see. So whatever the service that we want, we will configure it. And I'll show you that how to create an account and how to log into the account. So we'll get clarity on next coming classes.
Please say syllabus, sir, please.
Yeah. Ravikiran, as you say, region, how many places the data store, if it stores in one place, how they can maintain high availability. One more thing in this course covers Azure Logic Apps, Kubernetes. So Kubernetes Logic Apps will not cover, it covers in the DevOps. And coming to the region question, Ravikiran. So whenever we have a region, in each and every region, we have a different availability zones. Okay. Whenever we wanted to store something, we can store it in a single region with multiple availability zones. So that if one availability zone goes down, the other availability zone is up. And also in some cases, people will, what they do is they will maintain their applications or anything their data as a cross region replication so that the traffic which is coming from the different region, they'll be routed to the different server, and the traffic which is coming to the different server will be routing to the different region. So that's how they'll configure. So don't bother about the services. Once you log into the AWS account, you'll get a clarity on it. Service is just a common name. Is there any practical labs in this course? Every service, whatever I explained, that's shown as a practical, Syed. Any other questions, guys? So raise your question if you have anything, or else just I'm going on mute. I'll clear the doubt for offline. Okay. People who have any questions, they can raise the hand. Meanwhile, I'll clear the doubt for offline student now. Meanwhile, if you have any question, you can raise your hand, or else you can put it in the chat box. Next 30 minutes, I'll be available. If you have any question, you can stay back and ask. If you do not have any question, you can leave.
Hello, sir.
Rupak, I can't hear you. Can you speak?
When will the next batch start, sir?
Please reach out to the admin or admin will reach out to you on that part. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Azure DevOps will not be covered here. Only Azure will cover.
Hello, sir. Sir.
It is not part of cybersecurity, Shahid, but we have a security services in both AWS and Azure to secure our infrastructure. So because we can write the certification, so this class is for engineering role like architect role or infrastructure roles. For DevOps is a separate course that you have to learn like Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, Azure DevOps. These are the separate DevOps tools. Yes, Jagdish, I'm allowing. Just give me a minute. Jagdish, I allowed you to talk. Please unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, hi Santosh.
Hi, Jagdish.
Yeah, after starting the real-time classes, like
Yeah.
do we need to install any like server or application? Do we need to install?
No, Jagdish, because here we have both AWS console and Azure console. We have to create a free tier accounts. Okay. So mostly we won't install any use applications or anything in our laptops. Simply we will install like Putty or any small applications. That's it. Most of the work we will do it in the Google browser itself inside our account.
Google browser itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear?
And how many days it gonna take for the complete DevOps? Like you said yesterday, like 100 days, right?
Like 55 days minimum it will take both for AWS and Azure. 55 classes it will take.
Okay. And I don't have any knowledge on this. I'm
You
very
know,
new
I
to
mean,
it.
as I said, you don't require anything, any prerequisite knowledge. Till now, also, we haven't entered into any AWS service or any Azure service. I'm just preparing a ground for you to make you understand what is a server and what is a network before entering into it. That's it.
Yeah. Today we
Okay.
covered like you discussed about service, server, network, region, and what else. I didn't notice. Just I have listened to these say four. Did I miss anything?
No, that's
Service,
it. That's
server,
it.
network,
That's it.
region.
That's it. Just, they'll also share there is a YouTube video will be uploaded as well. For first 5 to 6 days, 5 days minimum, videos will be uploaded into the YouTube. You can also watch it. Then later on, after completing our three or four demos, so the session will be get locked and there will be a classroom get be created. And whatever that we discussed in the class, so I'll be sharing you the running notes as well, and I'll be in touch with you if you have any doubts.
I mean, as I said, we are going to start the like log the session after 3 to 4 days later. So are we going
No,
to
not after
continue?
3 to 4 days. See, for example, if you compare the session yesterday's and today's, I have repeated the same and I added two new points, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll repeat it and I'll add two more new points. After 3 to 4 days, what I'll do is I'll stop recapping for more time. I'll just recap for 10 minutes and I will immediately jump into the new topic.
Yeah. How many days this demo closes will be continued?
Just not more than 3 or 4, hardly 5. That's it.
Okay. So later, are we continuing on the Telegram channel, or else we will be creating any WhatsApp group like that for sharing the link every day, or else we
We,
have to go with
no,
the same
we
same
will be
password?
having a Telegram channel for our group, whoever in the batch. So you can post there if you have any queries.
Yeah. Yes. I tried to open from yesterday Zoom ID password and it is only showing the recorded video. So that's the reason I opened it from Telegram actually. And now I'm able to see.
Okay. I'll check with the admin. Okay. Please reach out to the admin once. He'll contact you. You can just talk to him regarding that.
Yesterday you shared one number, but I missed it. Can you share it once again, admin number?
I do not have. So I'll request him to reach out to you. Okay. Your name is one second,
Jagdish.
Jagadish, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll reach out to you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Siri Reddy, for SQL administrators, if you want to create a databases in cloud, yes, we do create the databases in the cloud so that it will be helpful for you. Okay, guys, thanks for joining. We'll connect tomorrow again.